Yes.
Are you recording already?
We're recording already. We're live already, everybody. We're 4 people for the first time here.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
Libby and Leslie from the United States of America.
Ich komme aus Amerika.
Yeah.
Aus Chicago.
Chicago.
Oh, I hear an accent. In Spanish.
Chicago.
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 Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Milwaukee.
Wauwatosa?
They're from the Midwest, everybody.
Yes.
The middle part of the West.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is also the cheese state.
It sure
Or
is.
dairy
Cheese
state.
Well,
I think it's
Wisconsin
the
is.
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
That's what
Wisconsin's
Illinois is.
Oh,
Illinois.
yeah, Illinois.
Yeah.
The
No
gun
way.
state, right?
I mean, aren't they all?
Aren't they
The
all?
windy state.
Actually, no, they're illegal in Illinois.
Oh, yeah, right.
You can possess them. You can't sell them or buy them. But then people do it in Indiana and bring it in.
I learned a new slur recently.
Is this how we're starting?
Illinois
swear
is
on
known as
this
the
podcast?
prairie
Yeah,
state.
sure.
The prairie state.
The prairie state.
I think I did know that at some
The
point.
Did you
prairie.
have
What is a prairie?
Fibs?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh,
I
I've
think
known
it's
about
so
that since I
rude.
was a
What is a
kid.
prairie?
I didn't know.
Yeah.
Little House on the Prairie.
I thought someone said it. I'm like, what does that mean?
What word?
Fib.
Fib.
It's fucking
fucking Illinois
bastard. I
bastard.
did not know that
I
until
told you
really
that.
recently.
Yeah, you told me that, yeah.
I think it's very rude.
It is very
Yeah.
rude.
I would not
Danielle
use it.
told me about it when we were driving
Yeah.
on the highway, and you said to a person who was driving not very nicely, you said, oh, it's a fib.
But I said it as a joke.
That's
so then
true.
you could learn what fib means.
Educational purposes.
It was.
What other
definitely
slurs do we know and use?
Let's not.
that. I think we should just go into the episode
Yeah.
at this point.
Agree.
And we're back, everybody, with a new episode of Hello, I'm Listening with my co-host Danielle and me, Woifi,
I'm the main host.
the main co-host to the host Danielle and me, Woifi. the main part of the episode. Of
Sure.
The show. Yes, no.
Sure.
Yeah, we have guests here.
We said that already.
No, I know, but we have to introduce them now properly.
Okay.
So Leslie and Libby from the States, who are random people we picked up on the street.
Yeah, hitchhikers.
Hello.
Fun fact, Leslie has been on the podcast before.
Yes,
haven't
But I
Indeed.
do believe it's when we were still
Translating
translating
Love.
love.
Mm-hmm.
the OG days.
The OG.
And it was a cool episode.
Yes.
If
It
you have
was.
not listened to it, you should definitely check it out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Leslie was on with her sibling
Yeah.
Bradley.
Yeah.
We talked about identity and pronouns.
Yes.
And
Yeah. Still a very cool episode.
It is.
Still a
I
very
thought it was
relevant.
very nice.
episode.
yeah.
And that as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So go back and listen.
Yeah. Go back and listen. Yeah, that's it, everybody.
Bye.
No, we don't have any topic yet. So
With no topic.
you might see the topic based on the title of the episode, but at this point, we don't know what this episode
We're
is
going
going
to
to be.
stumble into it.
It could be the title of the episode could be like a very like
Childhood
Midwest
friends.
like smorgasbord, you know, like
Call it charcuterie.
or charcuterie,
Charcuterie. A
Jello
little,
salad.
a little bit of everything.
ambrosia.
Ambrosia
Ambrosia.
salad.
Casserole.
Casserole.
Casserole dish.
Me-
Ooh, I like that actually.
The
There's a
casserole
episode.
dish.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, that's nice.
We should definitely quickly say what a casserole is.
Yes.
Should we?
Yeah.
I feel like most of our listeners probably know what a casserole is.
You assume that, but
I
you
did
have
not.
listeners in
I did
like
not know that.
other countries.
That's true.
Yeah.
Right.
I saw
So what is
your
a casserole?
demographics.
Well, what I learned from
Yes.
reading Wikipedia the other day when we were talking about this is a casserole is typically a one-dish meal. So all cooked in one pan and usually has meat of some kind, carb
starch.
like potatoes or rice or something else in there, and then usually some sort of vegetable or something
Canned
else that
or
adds
fresh.
that adds
Dealer's choice.
that will add liquid while it
Yes.
cooks.
I didn't like how they said that, but the juices will
The
be
juices,
expressed.
yes, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
But it was a staple, especially in the Midwest, for those cold winters when you
Yes.
just need,
As we call it here, slop.
slop.
Yes,
Wow.
we.
To
This whole
just-
conversation started because we Libby
made slop twice.
slop for us, and we've been calling it slop.
Double slop.
Delicious.
It's delicious.
We don't mean this in a derogatory
No,
way
no,
at
no.
all. It's
Slop is
simply
a
the
great
most
thing.
accurate
It's
descriptor
great
of what
poor
we eat.
man's food.
Yeah.
great.
It's not a stable, like you can't cut it and serve it.
Yeah.
Scoop.
It needs to
You
be
need to
scooped,
scoop, but it's also not a soup.
and you need to like dip bread in it because it's just
Yeah.
the best
It
way
tastes
to eat
better.
it.
It's just
Yeah.
great.
But we
But
couldn't
it's-
think of like what we should call it, and Leslie suggested baked stew.
Baked stew.
Baked stew.
That's great.
But certainly, if you need just that like warm comfort,
It's very winter
stick to your
appropriate.
ribs kind of
Yeah.
meal.
That's true.
Yeah.
And you can technically throw anything at it, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Back in the day, when the kid found dead rat, the father's like, throw it in!
Protein. Yep.
Found a dead bird from last summer. Throw it in!
Yeah.
An old tire, throw it in!
We did keep calling it wartime food.
Wartime food. We
For
did
when
depression
there's
food.
really depression food.
Yeah.
You know what I would like to
As
know?
in from the Great Depression. Although I suppose you could also eat it when you are depressed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Both. Depressing times or depressing head. Either.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about food and like, I guess casserole we learned is somewhat Midwest specific. I mean, lots have versions of that, but I would be curious what each of your families like family dish was. Like my family would make some version of a stir fry all the time with like veggies and something, but my dad would call it yuck, I hate it. And we'd be like, what are you having for dinner? And we'd say, yuck, I hate it. Because we were jerks and would be picky and we would say we didn't like things. And so he just started calling everything yuck, I hate it. But that was kind of like our family's like little family joke thing, you know, or like special. Like, do you have any family?
The one thing, this wouldn't have been where my head went first, but it was definitely a thing that was like fun to say that we would call it.
Yeah.
So in the States, it was Market Day. Do you remember?
I do remember Market Day.
So it was something where you could order, usually through the school, I think.
It was like bulk food, like frozen.
Bulk frozen food.
Yeah.
But you
Right.
would go and pick it up from the school.
Yeah.
Okay.
And some of it had like different names. Just like the brand decided to call it whatever. And so one of the things that we would get is it was almost like fish sticks, but it was like fillets, but like breaded and whatever. And what it said on the box was crispy crunchy cod.
Crispy, crunchy cod.
And so that became just
CCC.
what it was called. And so it was, what are we having for dinner? Crispy crunchy cod.
Crispy, crunchy cod. What an alliterative name.
And like, I wouldn't say that was like my favorite meal or anything.
But it's fun to say.
It's fun to say.
It's fun
And it
to
was
say.
definitely one of those things where when I was older, I realized that it was just cod. That it was that the dish was not called
Right.
crispy crunchy cod. That was just what was on the
Oh,
box.
that's so funny.
Yeah. That's fun.
My dad would make chili very often. He was a chili man. And he would also make Salisbury steak, which we loved at the time, but looking back,
That's a
it's the
tough
grossest
steak.
What is
thing.
Salisbury steak?
I sent you a picture once.
I remember it vaguely.
It's like frozen, so you don't really make it yourself. You buy it frozen, and it
I
has
remember.
like
I want to
really
say it's
gross,
a brand,
like,
isn't
gravy
it?
Yeah,
sauce.
Is
I
Salisbury a brand?
No, I think
Or is it the
Salisbury
style?
is the style of
It's
steak.
like smothered, like saucy.
It is smothered, in
Saucy
sauce.
meat.
And it's
Oh, yeah.
like I don't know
With
why they
peas
call
on
it
the side
steak
and stuff.
because it's like super soft and
It's like
real gross.
I don't even know if it's a cut of meat or
It's
if it's
not.
if
Like
it's
more of a
put together.
meatloaf.
I think it's
Yeah.
more of a meatloaf.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, that sounds
But
so
it's
gross.
not.
But-
It's lower quality.
It's very low
That doesn't
quality.
count as making food.
But if it was a tradition, did you call it something fun?
No.
Like slapsteak night.
No, the only fun thing I can think of is whenever my mom would cook.
Your mom did make
because
things.
She didn't
Yeah.
cook very well. Sorry, Mom. But there was, I think you might have been there for that, where she was cooking at one point and she was making chicken wings or attempting to make chicken wings. And she put them in the oven and they were like half cooked and she pulled them out and was just like, bloody chicken!
I do remember that. She
yelled.
screamed that. Oh my god.
That sounds horrible.
Do you know what? We should probably explain how we know each other because
Yes.
how we know that your mom made bloody
Well,
chicken.
we were hitchhikers. We covered
Oh, I'm
that.
sorry.
Yes.
We're
Yeah.
complete strangers.
Please stay in
Complete
character.
Never met your
strangers.
mother.
Never met.
It was a coincidence that I was on the podcast previously.
That's true.
You stumble into the room. Do you have a toy? Oh, there's a podcast going on. Let me talk a little
Yeah, it
bit.
was
I have something to
fluke.
say.
Truly a fluke.
I'm white and I have an opinion.
That's how they all come about,
Yeah.
honestly. Like, that's it. But Danielle and I went to have been going to school together since 4th grade.
4th grade.
So we would have been 8.
Yes, 2000.
8 years old.
That's crazy.
Wow,
Year
2000.
2000.
So we're going on nearly 24 years,
That's so
Yeah.
crazy.
which is a long time.
It's a long
Makes me
time.
feel old.
You're old as fuck. Both
I
of you.
know.
Might have actually. Did we start that year in '99? Was it '99, 2000,
The
and then
school
2000,
year would be-
2001?
Yeah, makes
Yes.
sense.
So
So
technically,
20, almost 25.
25 years.
Wow, quarter century.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And then obviously we went to the same middle and high school.
Yeah.
And
And I met these knuckleheads.
Middle school.
Middle school. So 2002,
Yeah, about there.
Yeah.
And we met in band,
Mm-hmm.
I believe, because we played flute and Danielle also played flute. So obviously we knew each other, but
Yeah.
then,
Jazz flute. Yas flute.
Yeah.
yeah. And found one another utterly delightful. And here we are.
And here we are.
we
all
are.
these years later.
Many shenanigans later.
Oh, so
Here we
many.
are.
In
Which
this
means
cloudy
I'm now at 20
country.
years with the two of you.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Well, more, 23. Because we were almost at 25. And it was 2
Yeah.
years before we met you. So,
I thought we just said 2002, 2003.
No, to 1999, 2000.
1999.
That was for you
when
two.
we met. And
math is
yeah,
hard.
Leslie, we met you in 2002.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 20, 21 years.
Crazy.
Okay.
Welcome to the Math Podcast,
Welcome to the Math Cast.
where we
I don't
do
wanna be
simple
here.
math.
And get
And
it
it
wrong.
takes us a really long
I think
time.
I find year math extremely confusing. I have many degrees, and I don't do it well.
Yeah, that's how they know each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
What about you, Woifi?
Yeah, how do we know you?
So I don't
Food.
remember my mom's dish. I remember she made yamknödel a lot, and we adored them. Like
Could you explain what that is?
it looks like a dumpling.
I mean, it basically is a sweet
But
bread dumpling.
It is technically we wanted to make one, but I don't think we have time.
Is it boiled? Is it baked?
It is steamed usually,
okay.
and so it's what is it? Gyamdag? It's yeast dough.
Yeast dough.
So it gets very fluffy, and in the middle there's like a jam core, usually with plum jam.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Do you eat it warm?
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay.
and it's a typical Austrian Hütten dish. So when you go skiing and you go to the Hütte on the slopes, you get that.
Like
That's
a
very-
warm, filling,
Yeah.
tasty treat.
It's amazing.
Oh yeah,
It's
that looks
quite
good.
delicious.
Oh,
So my
yeah,
mom made that a
very
lot,
nice.
and my dad
But did she make them from scratch?
nah.
Oh.
Okay.
And my dad made noodles with just egg in it.
Noodles.
So he made
egg.
he made noodles, then he put egg in a pan and just threw the noodles
The
in.
scrambled
and
egg.
Scrambled the
noodle?
eggs while the noodles were.
I don't know. That
And they-
sounds great to me.
I mean, it doesn't sound bad.
Yeah.
It's the thing is it's a great it's great fast food to
Yeah.
make, and it's not so bad for you.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
But
Your
at the
protein,
same
your
time,
carb.
it's also bland and there's no real substance
Was
to
there
it.
salt, perhaps? Or...
Yeah, a little salt.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So some flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
But no vegetable.
No green vegetables.
Missing out on
But
green
I remember
vegetables.
when my mom and dad got divorced, and we had like this thing that I think Friday at lunch we went to his house and he made food. It like 99% of the time we got that.
His
He's like-
specialty.
Right? He's like, "What should we make?" And I was like, "What do you have at home?" And he's like, "Eggs
Noodles
and
and
noodles."
eggs.
Eggs and noodles.
And he just made that, and we're like, "I don't give a
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Just make it."
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
neither of my parents were bad cooks, but they also just did what they could. Neither of them were like avid cooks either.
Yeah.
So like,
I imagine that any family with youngish kids, like a
Yeah.
working family, is kind of like whatever we have. You know, like we're
I
not
remember
cooking
a lot
like
of grilled
recipes.
grilled
really.
cheese sandwiches.
Right, quick
I do
stuff.
remember loving when my mom would make lasagna because she had this one recipe and
Yeah.
it was like spinach and ricotta cheese,
Oh, that sounds
and
good.
it was just it was so good.
Lasagna is always good.
Yeah.
Ooh, enchiladas we made a lot too.
We did too. We did too.
Enchiladas were a staple.
My mom
just-
made
we
baked
just did,
ziti
like-
all the time.
The white people taco night.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Throw some tortillas on the table and then
Yep.
like chopped up
Like
tomatoes
bowls
Cheese,
of
lettuce,
all the
tomatoes,
ingredients.
and
Yeah.
black olives.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds great.
Yeah. No, that's good.
We actually did this really fun thing where we would, I think one night a week, one person would get to choose what they wanted to cook. And it was like that person would cook.
Yeah.
And it was just so fun because it was
We did
always
that
so
too.
like experimental. Like
It made you
every
think
week
about
there was
it.
a
Wait,
new-
really? Did Zach cook too?
Yeah, everybody
I
had a
could not
week.
see him cook.
Everyone had. I mean, we had help, so like our parents would help us because
okay.
my parents did not trust me in the kitchen at that
For
time.
good
Sure.
reason. Look what we
Yeah.
made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Libby and I used to
Experiment.
experiment.
We would experiment. We made bread once, and
Oh, yeah,
we
I-
chose not to look
Yeah.
anything up. We said, we
No.
know what this is. And
Well, I mean, at that time, it was hard to look things up, but the internet was not what it is
that's
today.
true. We didn't really have
So
that.
we would have had to have like a cookbook or
That was.
something.
I want to say that was pre.
That was in elementary school.
We are old.
I mean, the internet is older than
The
you
internet
guys.
is older than us. No, it's not.
Yes,
Yeah,
it is.
it is. But the
Really?
the function
Oh,
of it
all
is,
right.
But the
is-
common
it
man's
wasn't
internet
common
is,
in homes.
yeah.
You know, it was expensive. But
Yeah.
we just we mixed flour and water and thyme
Oh.
and I think orange sprinkles.
and a little bit of salt,
Some
and then we
salt.
didn't mix it, so there was like a clump of salt in the
It
middle
was
of the
both
bread.
wet and dry.
Yeah.
And it was so hard. We baked it, and it was just like
so
a
bad.
rock.
That's hardtack.
Yes.
That's what that is.
Yeah.
We made shit
Flour
biscuits.
and water, and
Correct.
then you.
And when it came out of the oven, we covered it in chocolate
chocolate
syrup.
sauce. And I believe your mom was.
My mom
she
ate
tried it. She was like, "Good job."
She was a champ.
Good
she
for
was.
her. What
Yeah.
a trooper.
She was very nice.
She had to go to the hospital for a week afterwards.
Right. And I
Did
think
you go to a third world country? What happened?
we definitely tried other things, just kind
sure
of
did.
winging it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we were reminiscing about our after school snack because you know when you're growing up and you're just starving after school, and we would go to your parents' home and make cheesy roll-ups. He would put cheese on a tortilla and roll it up and microwave it for 30
But
seconds.
that's your
It would melt.
mom's food, right?
That's what
is,
I
and
said.
she
My
still
mom
eats
still
it.
eats that. That's like
Nothing
her
wrong with
go-to. She needs something to
It was
eat.
hot,
and
it's
just
quick.
Some frozen,
Yeah, I love that.
frozen
Yep.
broccoli.
frozen broccoli.
She has always broccoli in the freezer.
Mm-hmm.
The
But
woman-
she's getting into cooking
No, I
now,
know, I
and
know.
it's actually quite impressive.
Yeah.
She like has these nice recipes. She sends me pictures. She's
yeah.
Nice.
cooking some nice meals and casseroles. I think she actually made some casseroles.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's good. What was your after school snack?
It was goldfish. Almost always.
Yeah.
Goldfish.
Yeah.
Or you know what? We ate a
A
lot
live
of
one or
popcorn
dead
in
one?
your home.
A lot of popcorn.
A lot of popcorn.
microwave popcorn. A lot of
Oh, yeah.
goldfish.
Yep.
And sometimes both at once.
Yeah.
Especially when you would come over.
I remember tubs with the goldfish. I feel like there was a Chex Mix.
there was
one.
a
Yeah.
Chex Mix. Yep.
Yeah, like the Tupperware.
Yeah. And definitely gorged myself in both of them. But mostly the goldfish. And I remember with you, we would just like make a giant bowl of popcorn and grab the giant tub of goldfish crackers and just go down into the basement
Yeah.
and watch whatever movie we were watching and just
Yeah.
be like eating both of those things by the handful.
Okay, if you can picture, dear listener, a comforting place, it was Leslie's parents'
Yes.
basement. It was
Absolutely.
It was like 2 recliners. There were pillows everywhere. It was carpeted. It was quiet. There was a TV. There was popcorn and goldfish at your disposal. It was wonderful. We spent so much time down there. There's also a pool table, right?
Yes, it's
Yeah.
not there anymore.
No?
No.
Puzzles on the wall,
Also not there anymore.
VHSs.
They've
on
completely
shelves.
remodeled it. It looks
Have they?
entirely different down there.
Was there a bedroom down
No.
there? No.
My dad had his workshop down
his
there.
own. Okay.
And we had
Yeah.
like the laundry room and
Mm-hmm.
the like storage space.
Yeah, and it would smell like laundry. It was just like
Yeah.
comfort,
Yeah.
home, happiness.
Litter box. The litter boxes were
We
down
didn't- yeah,
there.
yeah.
You know.
But it was just a
Comforting
nice place.
smell.
Well, you
Smells
had
like
your sweet
home.
babies,
Smells
lightning
like
and
home.
Lightning and thunder.
and
Although I don't know that you
I
would have
didn't-
known thunder.
I knew lightning. I didn't.
And then
know
lightning
thunder.
and comet.
Comet. I knew
Yeah.
comet. Sweet baby comet.
Sweet baby
Cats,
comet.
by the
Sweet
way,
boy.
cats.
Cats.
Little
Yes.
Yeah, cat,
little roly poly idiot.
Mm-hmm.
I loved him so much.
Very dear, like a little cow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was black
That's
and white.
cool.
That's what we mean by that.
Yeah. Mhm.
Black and white.
And
yeah.
large,
He
kind of
yeah,
fat.
he was roly
Not
poly.
towards the end, but
He was
yeah.
round, yeah.
but yeah. Good
What is
times.
what because we are still like in the holiday phase of things. What is like a fun weird family tradition of yours that that is still going on maybe or that was going on in your childhood?
Okay, well, I have one that might be all 3 of us. I think this is the Midwest. Do you guys do the pickle ornament?
Yes.
We do not.
You don't?
No, we never did.
We got
Okay,
one.
do you do that? Or is
Okay.
that, why do we do that?
We didn't do that growing up. I learned about it from my ex-boyfriend actually because
Really?
his family did it.
Okay.
But I have no idea where it started.
Well, so the idea is there's an ornament shaped like a pickle, and you put it somewhere in the
Someone
tree, and you
hides
have to
it in the
find
tree.
it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like usually you kind of tuck it towards the inside or on the back or wherever, and then
And his family did it. Whoever found the pickle there's like a spare
special
present
gift.
that's just like around, and that
Yes.
person gets it.
yes,
But
Oh.
a few years ago,
I think it was our first.
it was our first Christmas
after the wedding.
After the wedding,
Yeah.
yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
And there was a little package at our door, and we opened it, and it is a pickle ornament with nobody
context.
wrote
Nothing.
anything.
No
we
notes?
have to this day no idea who sent it
really,
to
a
us.
secret
To this
pickle.
day, no idea.
How
Secret
wonderful!
pickle.
I mean,
And
it
it's
could-
also
Mystery.
so random because
it
nobody
was-
here knows what that is.
but
So
it-
it has
that's-
to be someone
right.
from the U.S.
Right.
Was there no like return address
Nope.
or
Nothing.
wow?
So it's very mysterious.
You were blessed.
It makes me
Truly.
feel like somebody reached out to like somebody we know.
I don't think so. I think it was
Maybe.
either
Because it was-
one of
there
your
was-
family or.
Yeah, but it wasn't mailed to us. Like the package that it was sitting at the door was not like
Oh,
a
it was-
package
oh,
that it was
that's
mailed
true.
in.
It
Oh,
was
so
not
someone brought it
mailed.
there.
Someone brought it to the front
It
door.
was St. Pickles.
Good one.
Thank you.
He comes-
Well, it's been real, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
he flies in on a pickle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Look, that looks like a giant pickle.
but yeah, the
That's
pickle
definitely
thing.
a thing. I if I enter a Midwest home, there's a pickle ornament.
Yeah.
Also, now
I
butter
remember being
ornaments.
told
I think.
that it was like a German
Maybe it is German. I mean, my family is German,
ritual.
of German origin, not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I have German ancestry and we still didn't do it. So I don't know.
Yeah. It's fun.
But it's a fun.
They're cute ornaments. I mean, they're
They're
fun.
cute.
They're cute, and it's a fun tradition, though. I think.
Just something little, right?
And it's hard to find, I guess, if you have a like, bushy tree.
Yeah.
Then it's hard to find a pickle in
And
there.
a lot of people like ornaments are. It's not really like so here. You typically don't even put the tree up until
Right. So
Christmas
much
Eve.
closer, right?
Yeah.
So it's like
for
the
one
24th.
day.
Yeah.
And
Usually
if you
you-
decorate it, it's not typically with Christmas lights. It's
I
with
mean,
candles.
Yeah,
like
candles.
actually
Oh, sure.
burning
Yeah.
candles.
Yeah.
like,
Even though
flame.
it's not very common anymore. Older people do that still, but
Yeah.
it's a fucking fire hazard.
It is.
And there are lots of fires around Christmas
Yeah,
because
sure.
of that.
Sure.
Shocking.
No way.
But and then otherwise it's just like the really classic like the ball ornaments.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's it. But you know,
Yeah.
my family was like we would get a new ornament every year. So like each person in the family would get a new ornament to kind of represent what that year was.
Yeah.
That's cute.
And we wouldn't decorate the tree until Christmas Eve, but the tree would be up earlier. And then on Christmas
really?
Eve we would throw all the ornaments on it. It was just like this massive.
Just
Yeah.
shit on it, basically.
Oh, it was so pretty. I loved it so much.
Really?
We
But
were.
then it would be hard to find the pickle.
I was making fun of our tree this year because we put it up right before I left. I was up and then I wanted to decorate it because I thought it's like nice to look at. And we have so many mismatched ornaments because we tend to buy them when we travel, and it's nice to look back and be like, oh, we bought this in New Orleans or wherever, and kind of look back on your trips and have something. So we have like a little crayfish from New Orleans and like a buffalo from Yellowstone, things like that. And I was saying, oh, it's such a it's not. I said it's not the most aesthetic tree, and Tim said, but it's our tree, and it represents our life. I said, you're right. Very wise of you, honey.
Is it still very common in the US to get like a real tree?
Probably.
It's very.
I never have.
My parents always get
they?
real trees.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty common still.
But I do know a lot of people that did switch over.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's much easier if you're in an apartment to get
Yeah.
a fake tree.
Oh yeah.
So I think that makes a difference.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work to get a real tree.
It is.
Yeah, they're expensive, and you're killing a plant.
Right.
That and also I think you guys have them up much longer than we do.
We do, yeah.
We have
Typically
them
after
typically up 2
Thanksgiving.
weeks
Yeah.
tops, and then
Right.
they're gone.
Yeah.
Which even is way more wasteful.
Yeah.
When would you put yours up? Like you and your family?
It would depend on when we could get to the like Christmas tree lot to get a tree. It was usually between a week and 2 weeks, I would say, before Christmas.
Oh, really?
It's later now because we still, going back to like traditions, my parents will wait until Bradley and I are home to decorate the tree.
That's nice.
Which sometimes is not until Christmas Eve or the day before. And so they will wait a little bit longer to get the tree. But yeah, it was always up before Christmas.
I would say anytime after Thanksgiving is fair game, and typically when people put them up, but
Ours was never that early.
before I think is bananas.
It was always mid-December.
Mid-December. Okay.
I usually was like very firm, not until at least December 1st.
Yeah, right.
But it's been the last few years getting earlier and earlier. I think I've just been like kind of missing Christmas traditions at home. And so I just want Christmas sooner and longer. And this year I put it up like mid-November.
It's just nice to look at. Like when you
Yeah.
have it in your living room and you're just like, oh, it's just pretty. The lights are pretty. And yeah, it's like, it feels festive. Like it's, something different.
It's very calming.
It is
I think.
calming.
Like when it's like all the lights are out except for the Christmas tree. It's so nice.
It is nice. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've not, no, like we have them up 2 weeks. We put them up a day before Christmas, and then you don't get into the room.
I mean, for
typically as
you,
a
technically
kid.
on Christmas, because Christmas Eve here is Christmas.
On
Wait, you
Christmas
don't go
Day.
in the room?
You're not
What do
allowed
you
to go
mean?
in the, as a kid, you're not to go into the room where the Christmas tree is.
Why?
Yeah, because it's like, secretive, and you,
Because the fire on
Christkind
it?
is coming, or the Santa Claus is coming, and and we, I mean, in Austria, we typically have presents on Christmas Eve.
Okay.
So that's our main thing, and then on Christmas Day, we typically have, and most people have their family things where they gather with families.
Yeah.
That's typically how we do it here.
Could you explain your Christmas figures here? Like your...
There is no Santa Claus.
Right.
There's no
There's
Santa
no
Claus, so
Santa.
it's Christkind, which is essentially
Christ
Jesus,
child.
Christ child. So it's essentially Jesus, whatever. I don't think there is like a depiction of it.
Okay.
People just call it Christkind, but it's the baby Jesus. What makes no sense that it comes and brings.
Oh, that's who brings your present.
Yeah,
Yes,
The
baby Jesus.
Oh.
yeah, which makes no
Wow.
sense. Right?
I mean,
How?
a big man coming down your
chimney.
chimney
Neither
also
one.
makes no sense.
Neither one.
That
is-
also makes no sense.
He's not real? What do you mean?
Sorry.
But yeah, it's a thing. So like when I was a kid, my dad used to say, "Let's go upstairs and look out of the window if we see the Christkind."
Oh, cute.
Those typical lies. And then you are upstairs, and then all of a sudden, a thing
You
is
hear a
that
bell.
you hear a bell,
Wow.
and then the Christkind just came or was here, and so
Mm.
you ran down and then just get as fast as possible to the room. In our case, the living room, and there was the tree all light up, and it's like,
That's very cute.
it is very cute. And then religiously you sing a lot of stupid songs that nobody really cares about.
Beautiful songs, yeah.
Yeah, and
And
then
you read, like, the
Christmas
story, but, like, the Bible
from the
and-
Bible.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mary and Joseph had to
Yeah.
blah blah,
Yeah.
and then there are presents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you celebrate Saint Nick here?
Yes.
There is Saint Nick here.
There
Yeah,
is.
on the
Okay.
6th.
Yep.
You
But
leave
we
shoes
have
out? What do you leave out?
nothing.
Nothing. Oh,
No,
okay. So we
that's-
would leave shoes outside of our door, and then
Yep.
candy would be in it in the morning.
Oh,
We
okay.
didn't celebrate St. Nick's either.
I didn't
Okay.
either.
No.
Really?
I never had Saint Nick's.
I think it's mostly a Catholic thing. 'Cause I
It is a
remember
Catholic
having-
thing.
My
yeah.
mom was raised
And we
Catholic.
were not
No.
Yeah.
Catholic, and
Right.
so
It's a Catholic.
I remember being jealous of
Of me, yeah.
my
People getting
friends that would get gifts. Yeah.
I mean, here it's
Uh-huh.
very traditional still. So if you have a small child and you want one of them to come, like Saint Nick, then a person who is dressed as Saint Nick comes to your house and brings. You typically then put out the sack of. It's not toys. It's sweets. You put it out, and he grabs it and comes in, or she. And then you sit with them a while, and you give them some, tea or whatever, and then there are some songs. They're like,
So someone really
Dresses
pretends
up
Yeah,
as
to be
yeah.
Saint Nick.
My dad, for
Wow.
example,
And comes to the house. His dad
That's a
does it.
commitment.
my
Wow.
dad does it. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's kind of fun. I
Yeah.
went with him once in a while as helper.
Like an elf.
Yeah, and I was carrying.
Saint Elf.
Yeah.
I was carrying some of the bags. And
So what would you wear if you were accompanying
Nothing.
Saint Nick? Oh,
Nothing?
naked. Okay. Fully nude.
I was fully nude, which was a problem because there were children
yeah,
there.
and
Yeah.
cold.
No, I didn't.
He's not
I
allowed to
was
do it
wearing
anymore.
Sure.
Just
That
my
makes sense.
regular
Okay,
clothes.
so you weren't like in costume
Yeah,
or something.
yeah. But
Sure.
my dad or the people are. And the thing is, I have fond memories of that. Like I
Yeah.
remember the guys coming or the women, but at some point at a certain age, oh, it's that guy, or
It's my
our
neighbor.
or, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And so the magic kind of fades away a little bit, obviously.
I saw something kind of cute. So for families who choose to do Santa with their kids, right? And then the kids get older and start to question. And when they're like, is Santa real? Is Santa real? Right? They ask. And then the parents will say, well, I'm going to let you in on a secret. And the secret is,
I know this one too.
And so it's that Santa is like a, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a spirit of giving.
Oh, okay.
And you can be Santa for anyone by doing acts of service and by doing something without expecting thanks. And they say, well, look at how mom and dad, bought all these presents saying they were from Santa and didn't get any thanks because you thought it was Santa, but we were happy to do it because it made you happy, right? That's the spirit of Santa. And so now
those kids can continue do it for their siblings, which is so lovely.
I know. It's kind of a sweet way to like transition out of that kind of like innocence and like without making it this kind of traumatic, like, no, Santa's not real. It's still sweet, and it's still, I like that it's centered around like a service mindset and doing things for people just for the sake of doing them. I think that's a nice way to
I like that.
Yeah,
that's a cool idea.
Because I really never liked the idea of Santa. Like, it just seems strange to me that we would like lie, right? Like lie to your kids and like, why are we making this up? Like when but it is magical, right? For kids, it's something fun. But having a way to then get out of it, that's not too bad. If only we had something for our weird ass Easter traditions. I don't know why that's a thing, but
the Easter bunny.
The bunny.
Yeah, but you're forgetting a very, very crucial Christmas character.
The Krampus.
Yes.
Now that is what I was thinking about.
I wanted to like, that's on the 5th usually, and the thing is, it's a problem nowadays.
Is it?
It's pretty horrifying.
It's not only horrifying, but the tradition itself. So what really happened in Austria is like in rural towns, there was like a group of Krampuses, of people who dressed up as Krampus and just ran from house to house, and they would let them into your house. And the kids got fucking scared.
Oh, just to scare them.
Oh,
that is highly traumatic.
It's also fear-based. So they say if you're not a nice boy, they will take you in their sack.
And they drag you to hell.
Oh my
essentially, that's the character. But nowadays,
charming.
Nowadays,
yeah, right. Nowadays, you usually have a gathering, and then they come, and usually they're the Piachten. That's what like the bigger ones called, with really.
Yeah, here's a picture of what they look like. It's not terrifying at all.
Oh my god!
With like full on.
That's like something out of Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
And
I thought it was lighthearted fun, like
no, it's not.
Oh no, they run around with chains.
Real
chains.
Yes, they run around with chains.
Massive cowbells, and they have like whips and stuff.
And they chase you.
And they chase you.
Yes.
Yeah. But the problem is that in a lot of towns nowadays, so there are those ones, the big ones, that they don't typically do anything. They just look cool and dance around, and they're nice to children.
Yeah, good.
But then there are the ones who just dress up and want to be one too.
Sure.
And they have masks on, so there's already like this, I can do whatever. And then there's a group of them. And typically what happens nowadays is that they get very violent and that they beat up people. People are trying to beat up them because they don't want to get chased or whatever. And so that's a massive problem nowadays here.
Yeah, wow.
So it's not a fun tradition anymore.
No.
But it's like a whole parade thing that happens in the town square on the evening of the 5th, and there's like fire, flamethrowers. Just like it's ridiculous.
It's
a production.
Pretty cool.
Wow.
And if only the big ones are there, and now like in our town, there are only the big ones there. The other ones are not allowed anymore, and police is there obviously to make sure everybody's safe. And kids, I'm sure they're a little scared, but the big ones make it fun.
Well, and
approachable.
there's people dressed up as the Christkind who's also there. There's like a bunch of people.
So we have balance. Good.
There's people dressed as Nikolaus, and he's also there.
But the origin of the whole thing is horrifying. And I remember my mom telling me about they were running through town wildly, and they just opened the door and they just ran in, and she said that they were hiding under the bed, hoping that they would not find. Yeah.
Oh no.
That
was traumatizing.
Yeah, totally.
Wow, that's awful. So what traditions are you excited to carry on with your new
the campus? I will totally make that kid fear. No.
No, it's hard.
I know that's kind of a big question.
above the crib. Four little Krampuses.
No, the thing is, I want to have both sides of it. You know,
Yeah.
so I really want the whole Santa Claus thing
Sure.
with that exactly
Yeah.
what you were talking about in mind. I read
Yeah.
that also a couple years ago, and I was like, that's the sweetest way to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I also really want to, but maybe not the whole like coming down the chimney thing, but
Sure.
just Santa
Yeah.
comes and brings presents. But you know, where we do that on the 25th
Yeah.
because that's our Christmas, and then on the 24th it's all the Austrian traditions
Yeah.
and
We do both.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely
like
room
that.
for both.
Yeah.
Sounds nice.
The I have a big trouble also with lying to that extent because
Yeah.
it is a lie. Sure, it's a fun lie and it's
Right.
magical and stuff, but I in the core it is a lie.
Right.
And I like the idea of, because I don't want that to take. I don't want my kid to know that that bullshit is not real.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
fun. It should be fun and it should be magical. But at the same time, I want to have a nice way out of it where
Right.
where you don't because at some point, sure. I mean, we don't hold crutches and we're not like, oh, you lied to me when I was 4 years old and I don't like you.
In
But
therapy when they're like,
right.
Well, it could
You're
be traumatic, though. I mean, imagine like all of
can't
a
trust my
sudden
mom.
something you thought was real isn't. I mean,
Yeah.
that could be a pretty shocking.
For some people,
Transition.
it might be yeah.
Right.
I don't remember the age where I knew that it wasn't
don't
real.
either.
No,
But I
don't
also
either.
never remember a time where my parents or my mom sat me down and said, "Hey, you know,
right.
Yeah.
this
It's
is how
also
it
just
is."
I
hard to
think kids
control
just
because some
figure
people
it
hear
out.
it from friends at school.
Yep, some
like
people
it's
do.
impossible to,
right.
Yeah.
you know, it's wonderful to like plan out this like, okay, I'll let you in on the secret. And,
Right.
But like if someone spills it before you're
Yeah.
ready
Well,
to
then they
do
can
that.
come home though and say like, I heard Santa's
Yeah,
not real.
for
And then you
sure,
get to be
but
like, well,
it's-
let's chat about it, right?
Yeah,
But
Right.
yeah,
It's
you're
just,
right.
it can be a hard.
I think that's a good
Hard
way
thing.
to think about it, not to just like let it fade away and
Yeah.
hope that the kid is
Yeah.
not mad about it or
And if you think about it that way, it feels less like lying because you are carrying on the spirit of Santa then, right? That like so
Right.
so you're
yeah,
not
right.
you know, then it's not just
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
farce that you just carry on and then one day drop.
The one that I really don't like is the tooth fairy.
Oh my God.
Like, what is she
Yeah.
doing with all this
That's
teeth?
a great question.
Not a huge fan of tooth
The reason I figured
Building a
out
fort.
the tooth fairy wasn't real is I realized that the tooth fairy's handwriting is suspiciously like my mother's, which is very
notes from the
distinctive.
Tooth Fairy?
Oh yeah.
I didn't get
Yeah,
notes
handwritten
from the Tooth Fairy.
notes.
Just
I
money.
just got money.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my mom has very distinctive
Like analysis of the
handwriting.
teeth. You have a little cavity there. You shouldn't eat that much candy. Thanks,
what a-
Tooth Fairy.
What a weird thing.
Yeah.
It's strange.
But I suppose that also comes from a place of like, there's this thing that could be potentially scary for a child is having a tooth fall
Yeah.
out of your head.
Yeah.
Especially
a
if there's
bone
any blood or
coming out of your
anything
face.
when
Yeah.
it happens. Like it's a way to like,
Yeah.
oh, but now let's make this an exciting thing.
Yeah.
Like it's
Someone will come take it.
right.
While you're sleeping.
But leave
They'll
you
sneak
but
in your
leave you
room.
money. Like it's
Yeah.
coming from a place of making a scary
Yeah.
thing a little less scary.
I think we got those little foil covered chocolate coins for a while.
Mhm.
And then when we were older, we were like, money, please.
Yeah.
It was like $1, you know, like not
Mm-hmm.
not a lot, but yeah. Yeah, that is kind of a strange tradition though when you really analyze it.
Right.
Because you could
Yeah.
make the act of losing a tooth still like a fun thing, like to look forward to. Like when this happens, then we do this, or we, you
You
know,
get a new tooth
there's yeah,
in several months.
yeah. But
Yeah.
you don't have to necessarily make it like someone's gonna sneak in your room, take your tooth
Yeah.
from under your sleeping head.
I'm sure you can phrase it a little better than that.
There's this
She's a
creepy
fairy.
thing.
We'll come and rip your teeth out of your skull.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you're lucky,
Might
And also
get a
don't
quarter.
wake up
Yeah,
if
quarter.
you
It was a quarter.
if you catch her, she will take you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The inflation though, man, I know kids who get 10 or $20 for each tooth.
yeah, that's nuts.
Can you
That's
believe
insane.
that?
That's
Fuck.
nuts.
I know.
Inflation.
I mean, what can you actually buy?
What is
with
the
10
tooth
bucks?
conversion rate these days?
It's high.
These days?
It is high. Yeah.
It was a penny when I was. We don't have the fucking tooth fairy.
Yeah, you don't
thankfully.
have
A
it.
penny?
Yeah. No.
What did you do with
Did
your
anything
teeth?
happen when you lost the tooth?
No, you kept them in a box weirdly.
Oh, okay.
That's
You had like a box of
less
teeth.
creepy.
Put them on a necklace.
Right.
Wear them all around all the time.
No, I think I still have somewhere a box with my baby teeth in there.
Creepy.
Ooh,
it's super
fun.
creepy, yeah.
Yeah.
Bones.
But you can't wait to stumble upon that someday.
Right.
Box of bones.
Box of bones.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So someone could frame me. for murder if they have the box.
With baby teeth.
We found your baby teeth on the.
He committed the crime as a baby.
Looks like the murder was committed by a 6-year-old child.
Hey, you can claim you were a minor. You can't convict.
That would be funny, actually.
Yeah.
Coming to the year's end, though, what is like? Is there something you like about the year ending, or is there something you do for the year to end, or do you care about the whole thing that people have, like, you know, party and then celebrating the year's end or celebrating the new year?
I would say New Year's is one of my least favorite holidays personally because it is so drinking focused.
Yeah.
And it gives me stress because any crowd of drunk people gives me anxiety. I like the song Old Lang Syne. It's a fun song. But aside from that, I also don't like staying up late. So it's really not the holiday for me.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's fun to get together with people, but I don't like New Year's is not a holiday that I look forward to. It's just a day I kind of have to get through, I guess.
Yeah. I don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy the actual night as much as I used to.
Yeah.
But I do, like, around that time, I appreciate, like, having a time that is specifically focused on, like, reflection and looking forward.
Yes.
Like, having a time where we are all kind of collectively doing that can be nice.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And especially, we've been talking a lot while we've been here about, like, keeping journals and keeping diaries. And as someone who doesn't do that, having a dedicated time to kind of do that at least once a year, I can really appreciate. So I like the kind of ethos near and around New Year's. But the actual night, I could take or leave.
Yeah.
I mean, here, for example, that's not in the US as much from what I know, but here it's also very drinking, heavy party night. And fireworks are a big thing.
We do
That's
fireworks.
our biggest firework day.
Essentially,
That's
like
not our biggest, but it
4th of
is.
July level here. It's crazy. It's fucking obnoxious when you walk out and at like midnight, you can't breathe.
Really?
It's that bad.
It's like smoky and it's really horrible.
It's really bad. And when you walk the next day, it's just
like the litter.
Garbage.
Yeah.
It's horrible. And that's why I don't like New Year's anymore. And people, the thing is, there are a lot of laws in place where you are not allowed to shoot fireworks in towns. But, you know, if everybody does it,
people do it anyways. Right. We have the same thing.
They can't fucking arrest anybody.
You can buy fireworks, it's just illegal to set them off.
Yeah.
Which is like so fucking stupid. And people do it anyways. And I
think ours is the other way around. I think you can't actually buy them in Chicago, the city. You have to go out to the suburbs. Yeah. But people set them off all the time.
Oh, yeah.
So you can't buy them, but you can set them off. And actually, now that I say that, I don't know if it's technically legal or if people just do it. But I'm pretty sure you can't buy them in Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is with like New Year's? What is it called? What people write down that they want to like resolutions. What do you think about that?
I like the idea, but I think people tend to shoot really high.
Yeah.
And I think that's, you know, it's probably not good because then you disappoint yourself or, you know, for whatever reason, it's like you can't just reinvent yourself at the beginning of the year. But what you were saying before, that it just acting as a point of reflection and then maybe deciding what you'd like to change is good. I have not done it in the last like 5 years. I think I've just decided it's too, I don't like that type of pressure. And I think if you want to make a change, you should make that change anytime.
Yeah.
Right.
But
I think if it works for you, that's great.
Yeah.
Because some people need to like set that intention and have a goal and that works for them.
Yeah.
I think it doesn't work for a lot of people. And I think it doesn't work for a lot more people than
it works for.
Than it works for. And I think there's a lot of pressure put on New Year's resolutions from society, and also people put it on themselves. And so I think and exactly like you said, there's different levels of resolution.
Right.
So like you don't have to go all in, like I'm going to work out every day this year. Like that's just a lot, and it's not realistic.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I think it should be whatever works for you.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Also, I think when you set goals, I think it's much easier to set like short-term and long-term goals.
Yeah.
Because they're much more attainable. And a short-term goal can be, if I want to be more active, I go for a walk twice a week or something like that. You
Right,
know,
start
even if it's
small,
just
build up.
10 minutes or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then you build it up from there, and or even help. Like I want to cook healthy, and you say, okay, I do it once a week or maybe once every 2 weeks, something like that. Which should work towards. As you said, I think most people set those massive goals. Like I go to the gym 3 times a week all of a sudden, and I mean, that's what here, at least the gym memberships are skyrocketing in January.
Yeah. I never go. I just skip it in January. I don't go.
Right. And then in February and March, it's dead again.
Yeah.
It's like
too busy.
Why do people keep doing that? It's so funny to me. Just set goals that are obtainable and don't.
Right.
I don't know.
But I also think there's the flip side where it is a little bit endearing that we as like a race just kind of like have this attitude of like, we can change ourselves. We can, we can, you know, become different people, or I can change, you know,
finally do that thing I've been meaning to do.
Yeah. Like it's kind of hopeful in a nice
hopeful.
way. Like I think you can look at it either way or as a mix, but that like, it's kind of sweet that every year we're like, how can I be better? How can I do something for myself? Or, you know,
it'd be nice if we could spread that out throughout.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
I think that's kind of the biggest thing is people just burn out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is so hard to get. Like February is the worst month. It is eternal. Yeah. It's so long, and it's so cold and dark and just like boring. It's just a bad month. So something to get you through.
Yeah.
You know.
I also like when I have done resolutions, I like leaving the wording a little vague. So rather than like, you know, I had one year where I wanted to play my guitar more. And so I left it just at that. I didn't say I'm going to play my guitar 3 days a week. I said I'm going to play my guitar more. Yeah. Because then it's like, if I pick it up once, guess what? More. I did it more than I did last year, you know? So I like, and then you feel that little victory and then you're more likely to keep doing it, you know?
I like that. Yeah. And I've been trying to be less like goal-based, I guess, because for a while I track my reading just for my own self. I like to look back and see what I've read. I like to look at the different years and kind of see my reading habits. But I use like an app that lets you track your books and you can set a goal for the year. And I used to do that, and then I would kind of stress about it.
Yeah,
can I recycle? Can I whatever? And the last 2 years, my goal is it's one book. My goal is one book, and then anything over that.
That's great.
It's great, but it's like it doesn't matter anymore, and that's kind of like a relief almost, because then I'm just reading for the sake of reading, and not to meet some arbitrary goal that I set myself, and it makes it a little bit more enjoyable, and plus you get the serotonin of I'm 500% over my goal or something, you know, like it's just like
that makes me think too. I think there's also a trap that we can fall into where it's like the goal has to be somehow a one-up of what you're doing, whereas like it could be as much as like, I would like to continue going to therapy once a week, or I would like to continue something that you're already doing.
I like that too.
Because sometimes that can be hard. And so like, it doesn't, you don't have to constantly be one-upping yourself for trying to like really improve yourself. It can be, it's enough effort for me to continue on this track I'm going on. And like, that is a perfectly good resolution.
Yeah, I like that.
That's why I like the reflecting part about it. A lot of people are so focused on the future, but I think sometimes it's also good to look back on the year or on the last couple of months or weeks or whatever and see, okay, did this thing that I started doing this year or I continued doing this year help me or improve my life, or how do I feel? Or because I think that also gives a lot of, maybe sometimes even like leave some pressure out, because you're like, okay, I'm on a good path. I don't need to change that much.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, what am I already doing successfully?
Right.
So then not only does it make you feel better about what you've done the past year, but and I'm already doing it. So I can just continue doing it.
It's a positive mindset. Yeah.
Right.
I like that better.
I do too. Yeah.
That's a good positive note. Let's talk quickly about the favorite apples of everybody, because we need to address that. I'm sorry.
We need to address it.
The apple ranking.
Especially in this session.
Yes.
The casserole dish.
Oh,
we got to end with food somehow.
Indeed.
It's full circle.
What would you like to know?
I like to know the gala.
You want to know gala? Okay. Well, someone explain while I get it.
Okay, so Libby introduced us to this fabulous website.
We're going to link it.
We will put a link in the description.
AppleRankings.com.
AppleRankings.com.
Not sponsored.
And it is legitimately what it sounds like. It is, you type in an apple, you find the apple, and it is a very, very opinionated description.
Thorough review.
Very thorough review
Yes.
of the apple. And pretty accurate from the ones that we read that where I've actually also tried the apple. I'm like, yeah, that's actually the most accurate description. So
so they have rankings. They have each apple receives an overall number score out of 100, and then each of those, like within that 100, it's broken down, I think, into maybe 10 or 20, or it's by 10 or 20 points, where it's like excellent, pretty good, horse food, despicable, all those things. So shall I read Gala apple?
Yeah, let's read the Gala.
Okay, so the Gala apple, their subscript is the inoffensive mainstay, and it has a score of 70, which is pretty good. So this is a fairly high apple.
Yeah.
The Gala is a robust apple that can be and is grown all over the world all year long. As a result, it has become a wholly inoffensive mainstay that can be found in any supermarket at any time, anywhere in the developed world. In fact, in 2018, the Gala surpassed the gag-worthy Red Delicious as America's most popular apple. This does not mean the Gala is some kind of transcendent godsend. On the contrary, it's more akin to an uncool step-parent who eventually wins you over simply by consistently showing up. Red Delicious, please leave. We have a new father now.
Which I think then leads us into we should read the Red Delicious.
I agree.
Oh, the Red Delicious is the worst. Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Who comes up with that funny little things? Seriously.
That's a great question. I mean, I can look and see if there's an about on this website
you
quick.
don't have to.
Okay.
But it's so cool.
Someone I'd like to meet is the answer I'll give you.
Yes.
Because I think it's very funny. Okay. The Red Delicious is, the subscript is coffee grinds and a leather glove. It has a score of 25, which is despicable. All right. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Believe it or not, the coffee grinds in a leather glove, known as the Red Delicious apple, was once a robust firebrand credited with reinventing the apple from mere cider fruit into a full-fledged lunch-worthy side piece. It even won the Stark Brothers Apple Contest in 1894. Likely your great-grandma's favorite apple, this once flavorful Prometheus has been mass-produced into desolation. Nowadays, you can find this thick-skinned, flavorless, mealy imposter unwashed in a dirty wicker basket on the floor of a convenience store. What a sad state of affairs. It's time to hang them up, old man. Your time has passed.
So good.
Good stuff.
It's good stuff.
Good
It's
stuff.
really good
If
stuff.
you're interested in Apple, or if you want to know what your favorite Apple ranks, you should totally visit.
Oh
this
my God, we
website.
didn't even, there's a whole part of this website we have not breached yet. They have sections called Eat These Apples Instead. So under that apple, they have better ones. Red Delicious is better than, and then they have a list. And then more on Red Delicious. We could look at the in-depth analysis.
Oh my.
Which is so deep. Wow.
That's part for another episode.
Yeah, that sounds like part 2. But wow, it's like Wikipedia for apples. Check it out. It's good. It's very
really
funny.
cool. And it's
Great.
funny and yeah.
Do yourself a favor and just scroll down to the worst apple because it's very funny.
That's very funny.
Horse food.
Horse food, that's right.
Horse
Gave us a lot of joy a few
That's
days
it.
ago.
It did.
That's it, everybody.
That's
Thank you for
all.
being here.
Yeah.
Thank
thanks
you
for
for
having us.
staying
Thanks for
in our
having
home.
us. How fun.
And yeah, thank you for hosting us.
Yeah,
You're
you've been
welcome.
Lovely
wonderful.
home all week.
Where should we send the receipt to?
Madison,
The bill, yeah.
California.
Fiji?
Send it to one of the Great Lakes in a bottle.
We love to have you here anytime,
Yeah.
any time, any whatever. You're welcome anytime.
Thank you.
That's what I want to say.
Thank you very much. And you are welcome in our homes as
springtime
well.
and fall time.
Yeah,
and
speak for
winter
yourself.
time.
I don't want anybody.
Yeah, everybody, if you like what you hear, then please subscribe to the podcast and rate the podcast, and also head over to our Patreon where you can support us. And that's it, everybody.
Watch out for deer.
Bye.